My therapist asked me to reflect on what progress I thought I'd made in the last year. Now, it is my firm belief that a big question requires a big answer. So here's this video. Before I give you my answer, I want to make clear that progress isn't linear. I'm not in therapy to just magically change my life overnight and be done with it. I will be in a constant pursuit of a happier and more comfortable life forever, just like everybody else. Life changes, new challenges get thrown at you, and therapy is a great tool to help bring more patience, understanding, and introspection throughout that process. Growth and healing is a constant and forever process that changes and goes up and down throughout the different seasons of our lives. That's never going to change. This is just what's relevant to the current season of my life, year 25. Before I get into answering a question as big as that, let's talk a little bit about dipsea. Research shows that sex is as mental as it is physical, so you're gonna need a little bit more than just a vibrator to truly experience the height of all heights. So whether you've dog-eared a specific chapter of your favorite smut book or you have a movie scene that really does it for you, dipsea could be a great new option to throw into the mix. Dipsea is an app full of hundreds of short, sexy audio stories designed to turn you on. I can't say enough about how much I love dipsea and how much I love audio erotica. They bring these stories to life with a bunch of immersive soundscapes and really realistic characters that make you feel like you're right in the room as the action is happening. So maybe you're someone like me who loves to be told what to do, when to do, and how to do it directly into my ear. Or maybe you like a little bit more of a plot line. You want an enemies to lovers moment going on. A coworker that you're in a rivalry with. All of a sudden someday, the tension heats up. There are so many stories to explore over on Dipsea, and they're releasing content every single week, so there's always going to be something new for you to listen to. And for viewers of my channel, Dipsea is offering a free 30-day extended trial to everyone that goes to dipseastories.com/partylikeMaddie. That's 30 days of full access for free when you go to dipseastories.com/partylikeMaddie. DIPSEA stories.com/partylikeMaddie. And I know you guys are gonna love it, so go check them out and let me know what you think, because I would love to hear what your favorite dipsea stories are. Honestly, recommend them to me, because I'm gonna want to listen to them too. So I first started going to therapy when I quit my full-time job to pursue working for myself and doing YouTube full-time, because I knew that if I was going to do this full-time and enjoy doing this full-time, have any type of longevity doing this full-time, I was going to have to really prioritize taking care of my brain. It's just not normal to take in so many opinions about yourself, good or bad, on a daily basis, and I knew that I needed to get in there, get ahead of it, and really make sure that I was gonna be good dealing with this. Listen, I'm just a sensitive girly, and I always will be. I'm a Pisces. But I do feel like over the last year, I've developed quite a few coping strategies that have made this transition a lot easier for me to deal with. Number one, stop reading everything that people say about you. And that can be a lot easier said than done, because, I mean, listen, I've been doing this for 12 years. Nobody really paid attention to me for the first 10. So now that people like my content and are talking about it and are leaving comments, my gut reaction is to want to read what people are saying. Like, this is my favorite thing to do in the whole world. I've done this for so many years without this kind of reaction. So every time I see a new notification for a comment pop up, my gut reaction is to want to be like, oh my God, I'm so excited that people are watching my videos. What are they saying? In hopes that it's nice things. But, you know, sometimes that's not the case. But when you consume everything that people are saying about you, that's when the brain rot sets in, and we don't want that. Both the good and the bad, by the way. I don't think it's great to consume tons and tons of great comments about yourself all the time either, as good as it may feel. I think that sometimes it can make you feel like there's a higher standard set for yourself where you always have to be perceived as this type of person and there's no room for any kind of error or mistake. I just don't think it's great to read tons and tons of comments, good or bad, about yourself from people who don't know you personally. At the end of the day, like, these videos are shot by me, edited by me, planned by me, curated by me. And listen, I'm a cool person. I'm not saying you shouldn't like me. I'm so glad that you do like me. Don't get me wrong. But I do understand that there's nuance that you as an audience member will never see, because I am the one in the driver's seat making each of these videos. At the end of the day, you will only ever see what I want you to see. This is entertainment. I'm the one editing, and for good reason. People shouldn't know every single thing about me, every single thing about my life. There are parts of my life that will always be exclusive to my close friends, my family, the people who know me intimately and personally. And I think that keeping my ego in check is equally as important as not reading a bunch of nasty comments from other people who don't know me personally. I don't think that either really serves my internal growth as a person. It's not about not reading them at all, it's about reading them significantly less. It's about setting boundaries on how much you are consuming of what other people think of you on the internet. I think at some point you really have to start practicing how to truly make sure you are putting more value in the opinions that come from people who know you personally over the people that don't. And I think when you have those values lined up with what works for you, you end up taking things a little less personally, being able to let go of things when strangers say things about you online that is not in alignment with who you know yourself to be. I think at this point, I know what is too much, what is just there to fuel my ego or make me feel like shit, and what is, a healthy amount of criticism and affirmation that is okay for me to indulge in. Anyways, I hope all that made sense. I'm sitting here in the middle of a park, a bunch of people are walking by, I'm wearing devil horns for no reason. Nobody told me to wear them. I'm going to trivia. And me and my friends were like, well, what if we dressed up? So, but not really dress up, just like a little bit of dressing up, but nobody else is. This is not a, trivia sanctioned event. I'm just talking to myself in public wearing devil horns.
Fourth place, 36 points. We have lads on tour.
I'm so hungry, and I feel like I have no quick foods in my fridge, so I guess I'm having chips and salsa. Ooh. So the second thing that's helped me is trying my hardest to offer understanding, patience, and kindness to the people that are mean to me. Offering the people that hurt you understanding, as counterintuitive as it may feel, can actually be really helpful. Let's say I read a really mean comment from someone about the way that I look. I can decide to take that to heart because they just hit me with, the nastiest thing their brain could think up. Or I can offer them understanding and kindness in return because I know in my heart of hearts that people that feel good about themselves don't act like that on the internet. I think I've learned that I need to create space for me to feel empathy and understanding for the people that are super fucking nasty to me. Because I think especially with the type of content that I create, I do trigger people. A lot of my content is me talking about reflections that I've had, things that I've been working on and healing from. If you are similar to me in any way and you are not ready to confront those things in yourself, yeah, it might be difficult to hear me talk about confronting those things as well. I make a lot of content about self-image, about body image. I talk about my experience as a fat woman a lot. If you are someone that struggles with body image, if you're someone that struggles with self-image, you might love my content. If you're open to hearing what I'm talking about, if you're ready to hear what I'm talking about. But if you're not open to that, then you're probably really not gonna like me. And it has nothing to do with me. It's just people are at different stages in their lives of what they're able to listen to and what they're not able to listen to. And I think because of the nature of what I talk about, if you're not ready to listen to this, then yeah, you're probably not gonna like me. I've mentioned this a few times on my podcast, but I think this reflection was born out of the people that get mad when I talk about my boundaries or like my standards in dating, what I will or won't accept. Definitely experienced a lot of people getting mad at me for having boundaries. I think especially as a plus size woman, I've experienced people getting mad at me for having boundaries, saying things like, oh, well, you should just take what you can get because you're fat. Shit like that. In reaction to reading all of those comments, I have to offer those people understanding because it's the only way I can reckon with
why someone would say something like that. Why are you mad that someone else is setting boundaries that work for them? In my eyes, the only reason why you would be mad about someone else setting boundaries, or some random bitch on the internet talking about how I won't accept XYZ in a relationship, that's not enough for me, is because you see me as a fat woman as being less than you, and seeing me demand maybe more than you have in your relationships triggers some part of you, because you see me as beneath you, and yet here I am asking for more, and that makes you feel some type of way. If you felt happy and content and comfortable in yourself and what works for you, you wouldn't lash out like that towards people like me. It just doesn't make sense. So overall, I do feel like it has gotten easier for me to process negative comments, which is such a relief, because there were moments a few months ago where I felt like, I don't know, there were moments where I questioned if I was really built for this. There were moments where I was like, are you too sensitive to have this many people consuming your life? But I do feel like I've been really great at taking care of myself lately. And I've been really great at not taking things super personal and offering people understanding and space to not like me. And for that to not be personal, for that to be more a reflection of what's going on in their lives. And, I'm just some random bitch on the internet. I'm, just a vessel that drew out whatever they're feeling out of them. I don't think that anyone will ever be good at dealing with hate comments. I don't think anyone should be either, by the way. I think it's a normal and healthy reaction to feel sad when people are mean to you. My goal is never to numb myself to how bad it is to read mean things about yourself. My goal is to just be better at coping with them, letting myself feel the sadness and anger, but then knowing where to go from there, knowing where to move from there, how to comfort myself, how to pick myself back up, how to not harp on this or really let it impact my self-esteem at large. Loving people through all seasons of life can be difficult sometimes. Family, friends, coworkers, lovers, whoever it is. Every relationship that you have in your life will go through different phases and different seasons as you both grow in your own directions. I've talked about this before on my podcast, like going from the season of friendship where you guys live together in college and you have classes together and your daily schedules are totally synced up to you graduate, and maybe you both move to different cities and you both have jobs that demand totally different hours from you, and you just sort of naturally fall out of sync. You go from spending literally every day together to maybe catching up every 3 to 6 months. And maybe that's how it is for a phase of life. And at some point, a few years down the road, you'll pick back up where you left off. Your lives will be in alignment again. But for now, things are different. And I think that I have struggled with accepting some of the changes that have come with growing alongside people that I love. It's a beautiful thing to have so many people in your life that you've known for so long. But naturally, part of loving people so long term is having to navigate how things change and how dynamics shift over time, and that can be painful. Learning how to love people and give them grace and patience throughout all the seasons of their lives has just made it easier for me to give myself that same grace and patience. I've learned how to accept people for where they're at, how to accept relationships for where they're at, and sort of just trust the process of how things will change and grow in time. I think another example I could use here is my sister, who is one of my best friends in the entire fucking world. I talk about Morgan all the time. Morgan and I will always be attached at the motherfucking hip. But she lives in California now. And so naturally we see each other less because we live so far away from each other. And that distance can be hard sometimes. And it sucks a lot. I so wish that I could hang out with my sister every single day. She's in college and she's doing her own thing and she's killing it out there and it's incredible. And I've loved watching her grow from across the country. But I so wish that I could hang out with my sister every single day. And I so miss the days where we lived under the same roof. I think like getting older and like moving out, I was the oldest of 4. And when I moved to college, I never really thought about like, this is the last time that us 4 kids will ever be living under the same roof. And like, once I'm gone, once I go to college, like that phase of childhood is over. And you're in college and then I go back home and I can see everyone. And then all of a sudden you all slowly go to college and you end up seeing them like just a few times a year. Oh my God, why am I crying? It's because I love my siblings. Sometimes it's hard going from like spending every day of your life with people, like literally every day of your fucking life. And then you get older and it's like, okay, I'll see you Thanksgiving and Christmas and maybe a week in the summer, or maybe we go on a vacation together. And I see my family a lot. Like I see my family like once a month and I'm still crying. I feel like I've like been perpetually homesick since I moved out when I was 18, and I love New York. I love my life here. I wish I could convince everyone I love to move here. I think I end up missing my siblings so much. I miss when we got to do life together every day. I miss having people that are like literally a part of you to have life so tied up with. I just love them so much. It's hard. Getting older is hard. Moving away from family is hard. Adjusting to post-grad life is hard. Trying to build an adult life for yourself is hard. It's all fucking hard. I feel like life kind of naturally gets lonelier the older that you get. That sounds really sad. I don't mean it to sound really sad. I think it's just like a natural progression of things, or at least that's how it's felt like for me. I mean, my goal was always to work for myself, and now I do work for myself, but that naturally is lonelier than if I had a standard job where I have coworkers that I see every day. I wanted to live in New York, so I moved away from my family to live in New York because that's what would be happiest for me. That's where I want to be. I'm single. A lot of my friends are not single. Like, I just end up doing a lot of life alone. I really enjoy doing things alone, but you know, there's still the loneliness aspect of it that kicks in every now and again. But I do feel like I've gotten way better at learning how to accept people and relationships for where they're at. And I come say, hi, Muffin. Come here. Your mid-20s are one big, long, uncomfortable transition. And I've definitely felt more loneliness in this phase of my life than I have in literally any other phase of my life. But I know that I have an incredible community of people around me. And I think in a lot of ways, she's coming to say hello. I think in a lot of ways, this period of solitude has been really beneficial to me and my growth. She's coming in to remind me. She's like, you're not alone. I'm here 24/7. Come give me some kisses. Okay, I'll give you some kisses. I love my friends and my family more than anything. Friendship and sisterhood are two things that are so incredibly important to me. Two of the most important things to me in the face of the planet ever on Earth. And my relationship with Miss Mango is up on that list as well. You are so goddamn cute, it's criminal. But despite how hard it's been at times, I definitely feel proud of myself in this department of life as well. past that film vending machine all the time, and I'm just never gone. It's cool though. So this next section is actually the section of myself that I feel like I've made the most amount of progress. So much so that although it's important to know about me to be able to fully understand, my past, present self, how I am, how I got to be the way that I am, having negative self-image at this point in my life isn't really something that I struggle with. Thank God. That's so fucking cool. Now, that's not to say I don't have bad days. I definitely do, but those bad days don't tend to bleed into bad weeks or bad months anymore. And honestly, I feel like I can largely thank both the plus size community and my year of no dating for that. I feel like I've learned so much from just adjusting the way that I speak to myself, questioning things that I used to believe about myself, and really just prioritizing romancing myself. I talk about this shit all the fucking time. You guys know what I'm talking about. At this point, they really are things that feel like more a part of my past than of my present, which is wild because there was so many years where I never thought that was ever going to be a possibility for me. And it feels nice when I'm talking to my therapist to be able to talk about my self-image in a way that's like, okay, this is important for you to know because it gives you so much additional context into understanding who I am, but this isn't really something that impacts me on a daily basis in like a heavy way anymore, in the way that it once did. But with that being said, it does impact me in an indirect way, in several indirect ways to be exact, which brings me to the next section of this video. When my therapist initially asked me this question, this was the section of my life that I said I felt like I made a lot of progress. I know I've made a lot of progress, but in a lot of ways, I can't feel that progress. It doesn't feel as obvious to me that I have made progress. I know that I have. I remember when things felt so much worse than they do now, but I don't know. Sometimes I still feel like it's more difficult than it is not difficult. So you might be wondering, what is progress? What do I mean when I say progress in this category? When I started doing therapy, I believe that I said that I wanted to feel more at ease with dating, and I wanted to be kinder to myself throughout the dating process. Now, you guys know that I'm a big fan of first dates. I fucking love first dates. So when I say at ease, I don't mean that I felt anxious dating, because I don't think I've ever really felt that. But when I start to get invested in someone, when things start to get more serious, there's just this pit that starts to grow in my stomach. And in truth, I know that this feeling comes up because I had a lot of challenging and disappointing experiences in dating as a young person, particularly in college. How much do I have to talk about this? And sometimes my brain will automatically prepare me for the worst case scenario, the worst possible thing that could happen when you start to get intimate with someone emotionally, because those things have happened to me in the past, and I am deeply afraid of them happening again. It's a defense. My brain in some way thinks that it is protecting me by supplying me with 100 things to worry about, because if I can think of it first, if I can worry about it first, then I can prepare myself for being hurt. If I can prepare myself to feel that way again, then maybe it won't feel as bad. But really, all of those worries do is make me feel really sad that I can't seem to date without past trauma bubbling up. And I know that is something that everyone deals with. I know that all of us have past experiences that have made it difficult to trust or difficult to open up or XYZ, whatever. And my past experiences make it so that I think of every bad thing that could ever possibly happen to me ever, so I can worry about it every day of my life in hopes that if it does happen, I'll have already gotten out all of the worrying. And I think I felt especially frustrated over the last 2 years because I've had a lot of really positive dating experiences that have been teaching me what it's like to date adults that are equally as mature as I am, what it feels like to date people who aren't going to hurt you, even if things don't work out, how to actually have enjoyable, kind dating experiences that don't make you feel like shit. The last 2 years have been really positive. But despite how healing it's been, despite how refreshing it's still been frustrating to have to deal with moments from my past bubbling up, emotions from my past bubbling up, and having to deal with that. I've talked at length in my Year of No Dating series about learning how to set boundaries for myself, standing up for myself, abandoning the idea of too much that has previously plagued my dating experiences. I've read endless self-help books on relationships, how to be a better communicator, a better partner, how to be patient with myself in love, how to be patient with other people in love, and how to accept how truly and deeply imperfect loving and letting yourself be loved will always be. Because no matter if we like it or not, we all have things that have hurt us in the past that we hope to God aren't going to happen again, that we are afraid might happen again. We are afraid what it might do to us if it happens again. Fear, especially the fear of the unknown, is a huge part of dating. Dating is a very vulnerable, very intimate process, and you will never have a 100% guarantee of things going 100% smoothly. You, at some point, just have to accept that the fear of the unknown isn't going away, and you will always have to deal with that as part of the dating process. I am very bad at accepting this as part of the dating process. After the last person that I dated, that I did really like, ended things with me, I felt sad, obviously. I also felt a general wave of disappointment because truthfully, I could have seen things developing into something that I really liked, on my part at least. And naturally, when something ends and it's something that you are really feeling is going great, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, there it is. That sucks. It's just not what you expect to happen, I guess. But what was more frustrating to me about the whole situation is that when he ended things with me, I was struggling with a distrust of his reasoning for why things ended, which sucks. It sucks so fucking much. And as I was laying in this very spot crying about this situation, one of my friends texted me and said, "I wish you didn't see men's emotional unavailability as a reflection of who you are as a lover." And I said, me too. Fuck. Because no matter how much I might know that logically what she's saying is true, I still take everything super personally, and I accept fault for things that aren't even my fault. I assume the worst. Yeah. But I don't know. Sometimes I feel like the sting of rejection hurts so much that my gut reaction is to want to blame myself, because if I blame myself, that means that I'm in control. And if I'm in control, if I can control this, if I can learn something from this, maybe next time I can prevent myself from ever feeling sad again. My gut reaction is to want to take things personally, even when it is not personal at all, even when it has nothing to do with me. There's nothing that I could have said or done differently to change the outcome. If someone is not ready to be in a serious, committed, invested relationship, then that's that. It has nothing to do with me. I want to fight myself sometimes. Just kind of still learning how to accept that life and loving is a series of disappointments that aren't personal sometimes. All of us are living totally different lives. We have completely different levels of what we're able to give. And sometimes things don't work for reasons beyond blame. We are just two people moving at different paces, maybe in different directions. And that is okay, even if it doesn't feel that way sometimes. There's nothing wrong with being disappointed or being sad. And I don't think wishing away those emotions would be a marker of progress in the way that my brain likes to think that it maybe would be. And I don't have to get rid of these feelings in order to be the most optimized version of myself. I'm not striving towards this totally unrealistic, never give a shit about anyone version of me that will never exist, because I, by nature, give a shit. You know, before I started going to therapy, there was sometimes a part of me that resisted going because I didn't feel like I was bad enough. I didn't feel like I was worthy enough to ask for help. I felt like, God, your problems aren't so bad that you need to take up that time. That time could be going to someone else. Like I felt like I was stealing something from people who needed it more than me if I asked for help, which now I understand is like just a way for my brain to tell me that I don't deserve to get help. And it's not true. And it doesn't matter how big or small your problems may seem in comparison to someone else. You yourself, no matter what it is you're going through, no matter what it is that you need support in, deserve access to that support. And I'm really glad I didn't wait to start therapy when I was really fucking suffering. I'm glad that I sought out help and support at a time where things were going fine. Things were okay. I felt okay, but I knew that I had stuff within myself that I really wanted to work on. I wasn't in crisis. I just wanted to prioritize my healing. So anyways, I guess that is my answer to my therapist's question of how I feel like I've grown in the last year. Some of it feels obvious, some of it feels not so obvious, but I'm really happy that I decided to go to therapy. And I'm really content with where I'm at in my life right now. I still have so much to learn, so much to grow from, so much to heal from, so much more of me to discover and fall in love with, but I am so excited to continue doing that. And to continue doing that with the help and support of my therapist, which I'm so grateful that I have access to. Please be gentle with yourselves. We're all just learning out here. Even the people that seem like they truly have shit figured out truly don't have shit all figured out. I love you guys so much. I'll see you in my next video.